The night was calm in the small gated community, the kind where every lawn looked manicured to perfection and every resident believed the HOA had the right to dictate what color curtains you could hang inside your own home. For months, the board members had been quietly circling one particular homeowner, Angela, a black woman who had recently moved in. She was professional, reserved, and not one to get involved in petty neighborhood drama. Her house was always immaculate, her driveway clear, her lawn clipped. Still, the HOA board didn't like her. She didn't attend their wine socials, didn't bow her head when they barked orders, and most importantly, she knew her rights. That alone made her a target. It started small, letters about, trash bins visible for too long. Notes slipped into her mailbox claiming she owed special assessment fees she had never agreed to. Angela ignored most of it. She had read the HOA bylaws front to back and knew exactly what they could and could not enforce. When they realized intimidation letters weren't working, the board decided to escalate. And that's when things took a turn from ridiculous to dangerous. Late one evening, just as Angela was cleaning up after dinner, she heard a sharp knock at her door. It wasn't the friendly kind of knock neighbors used. This was loud, deliberate, the kind of knock meant to rattle your nerves. She peeked through the peephole and saw two men in dark uniforms standing on her porch. They had badges clipped to their belts and utility belts strapped around their waists. To anyone else, they might have looked official. But Angela had seen enough real law enforcement to notice something was off. Their shirts were wrinkled, their boots mismatched, and the badges looked like they'd been bought online. "Open up, police," one of them barked, pounding again. Angela didn't flinch. Instead, she calmly set down the dish towel, walked to the door, and unlocked it just enough to swing it open. The two men straightened their shoulders, trying to look imposing. "Ma'am, we're here on behalf of the Homeowners Association," the taller one said, his voice rough. "You've failed to comply with repeated notices. We're here to escort you down to the station until this is resolved." Angela almost laughed. Escort her to the station? Over HOA fees? They weren't even trying to sound legitimate. She raised an eyebrow, her voice steady. "Which station would that be?" The shorter man shifted uncomfortably. Community enforcement office. "Don't play games. You either come with us peacefully or we'll have to put you in cuffs." He pulled out a pair of cheap-looking handcuffs that clinked like toys. Angela crossed her arms, staring them down. "You're not real cops," she said evenly. The tall one smirked, stepping forward like he could intimidate her with his bulk. "Lady, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. Don't make this complicated." But Angela was calm, too calm for their liking. She took one slow step back into her foyer, her eyes never leaving theirs. With deliberate precision, she reached under her blazer, pulled out her leather badge wallet, and flipped it open. The gold gleamed under the porch light. "U.S. Marshal," she said, her tone like steel. The men froze. The shorter one's eyes went wide, and his fake badge suddenly felt like it was burning a hole in his belt. The taller one's smirk faltered, his bravado draining as he realized exactly who they were standing in front of. "You've got to be kidding me," the short one muttered, taking an instinctive step back. Angela held their gaze, her voice low but commanding. "Impersonating a federal officer is a felony. Showing up at someone's home under false pretenses is criminal trespass. Now, I can call the real police. Right now and have you both in cuffs before midnight, or," she tilted her head, eyes narrowing. "You can disappear before I decide to make an example out of you." The men exchanged a panicked glance. Their little scheme had just blown up in their faces. Whatever the HOA had promised them, money, favors, maybe just the thrill of throwing their weight around, it wasn't worth crossing a U.S. Marshal. The tall one stammered, "We were just running errands for your HOA friends." Angela cut in, her tone razor sharp. "You tell them if they want to play games with me, they better come correct. Because next time, I won't just flash my badge. I'll use it." The two men didn't wait for another warning. They spun around, nearly tripping over each other as they bolted down her porch steps and scrambled into a beat-up SUV parked crooked at the curb. Tires screeched as they peeled away into the night. Angela stood at the doorway, calm and unshaken, watching them vanish. She knew this wasn't over. The HOA wouldn't stop just because their little stunt failed. But now, she had the upper hand. They had revealed how far they were willing to go, and she wasn't the kind of woman to back down. Closing the door, she locked it firmly and set her badge back in its place. A faint smile tugged at her lips. The board thought they were intimidating her, pushing her into submission. What they didn't realize was that they had just poked the wrong bear. Angela had dealt with dangerous fugitives, high-stakes raids, and criminals who thought they could outsmart federal law. Compared to that, a petty law was child's play. She already knew how she was going to handle this. And the next move would be hers. The quiet of the house returned, but her mind was already racing with plans. If the WA wanted a fight, they'd get one. Only this time, it would be on her terms, and by the time she was done, they'd regret ever knocking on her door.